Hello and welcome, it's Jelly Cube. I have been requested several times to do an updated version of how I make my homemade pouring medium to add to acrylic paint. I have got lots of videos there that I've done over the years, so it's just an updated version, and it is the same if I use this. I'm doing this because I know that the US people can get the glue all very easily, the Elmer's glue all. You can get it, I believe, in the UK, and you definitely can get it in Australia. I'm making them up. I do make them the same, whatever pouring mediums I use, which are usually between this one, the Montmartre Craft Glue Clear. I found if this is made up in my same way, it works brilliantly too. And what's the other one? Even the Global Pouring Medium, I make it up. I make it all up the same way, meaning that I always use 70% of the product and then add 30% warm water to make up a pouring medium to go in acrylic paint. So I'm gonna do the options that's available to most people. So you can, this is in my Amazon shop and it is in the US and UK Amazon, I believe. Underneath this video there's a drop down box description and you'll find the links to the Amazon shop where these products are available. Today I'm using Montmartre paints because this seems to be universal. Lots of areas and countries can get the Montmartre acrylic paint. So this is what I'm showing you with today. So first of all, I'll just make up my pouring medium. So it's a tutorial video on how you make up everything to go into fluid art painting. It's not just straight acrylic paint. So I'll go with my glue all, and I don't measure exactly 70%. I eyeball everything, so, but I have done exact measurements in other videos as demonstrations, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to pour what I believe is 70% glue all and add 30% warm water. And I add warm water, it seems to mix in really well with the and allow the homemade pouring medium to sort of mix really well. Okay, so I believe 70% would be about here. So like I said, it doesn't matter a little bit either way. I'll leave a little bit of area for shaking my product, so I'll add the pouring medium to there. That's not coming out real well, is it? It's doing a homemade pouring medium works out quite economical and cheap. So, and I do the same with the craft glue, the same. I take out 30% and then add 30% water and give that a real good shake, and that is a really good pouring medium too. And you can get this in Australia. I think these bottles of craft glue are about $6 Australian, and then you add the water, so it does make up a fair amount of pouring. So I've got warm water here. It's just not hot to touch, it's just warm. And I will add almost to the top of this bottle, but give it a bit of room to shake. Shake, shake, shake your booty. Not all clear glues and glues work the same. I've just found this glue all and the Montmartre and the Global to work and get really nice results and cells. But there is a secret ingredient that is always worth adding to your arsenal of paint pouring items. So I will put the lid back on that now and give it a good shake until it all mixes really nicely. I'll put my big tub of stuff away. So this is what I always started off with, this glue all from the, well, I used to get it from the US via Amazon, but you can get it here in Australia now. Glue all, I don't find the school glue works nearly as well at all. I just find that glue all works brilliantly. So you give it a real good shake, the same I would do if I was mixing that, the 70-30. You just give it a really good shake. And then it's always better to make it up and then kind of leave it till the next day or something. Or, you know, just make sure it's mixed really well. Secret ingredient, where is it? Okay. Is Floetrol. I mean, I don't add Floetrol every single time, but I know so many people are chasing cells. So this is Australian Floetrol, and I have a link for it that you can get it in the US. There's a link under there in the drop down box, and if you put Jilly 10, I think it'll give you 10% off the Floetrol. There's a lady in the US that imports and then sends it out within the US. I'm not sure about any other country. You would have to look it up in your own country where you can get Australian Floetrol. It's a magic ingredient really when you're chasing cells. It goes brilliantly with just Amsterdam paint and Floetrol. That's how they get all those lovely, really lovely bloom, like Shelley Art bloom cells. But it's also nice to just add a little bit of it to these paints that I'm going to mix if you want an extra special. But you don't have to, so I'll just show you the options. So, I've already put some paints into containers, so they're just a clear cup. I want to take these out so I can show you how I make my own paint stand. So it's just a piece of polystyrene. It's a piece of polystyrene like this one that came as packing. I think this one was a box that my husband had some tool come in. So I love to save all the polystyrene and then reuse it. And you just put a hole saw on the end of your drill and drill it through to your cup size. So I usually do some larger cup sizes and smaller cup sizes, but this particular one I just did for this cup size. So it holds your cups. At the bottom, I used what's called giant push pins. And I usually like to add a bit of glue to the bottom of the push pins and push them in so they stay in the polystyrene. So it's in there, so when you turn it over, it's actually standing up and then gives you a area for your cups to sit in really nicely. So as I said, these paints today are all Montmartre paints. Yeah, they're all Montmartre paints so today, but you can, not all paints mix well with this pouring medium. I've heard, you know, a lot of the American brands of paints that are expensive. I'm not sure what the name of the one is. It does mix well nice with Amsterdam paints. It mixes well with Montmartre, Global. I can't remember the name. If I think of it, because I haven't got any at the moment. It mixes quite well, but not with everything. So you have to just trial and error. These are just large paddle pop lollipop sticks that I use to stir my paints up. They can be washed and reused, or you can use these Colour Art Co paddles. This one I use for my resin, but these are fully reusable, and you can use these reusable washable paddles. I took the name off there. I think they're Fluid Art Co paddles. That one, and these are just my wooden paddles. So I have just literally poured in, I'll show you, these Montmartre paints are very thick and creamy, so you couldn't do an acrylic pour with just the paints. They're very thick and creamy, and for a reasonably priced paint, they're very good quality, and they seem, sorry, I had to shut that door because my dog's playing up. They've, yeah, highly pigmented and a good quality for the cost. So I'm going to just add some deep cyan blue into my cup. So I've poured the others in so the video is not too long and boring. Pop that down a second, just squeeze it. And again, there is no, I don't do weighing, because I find every paint brand, and even the same brand, can often come out a different consistency. Some can be thinner than others. Always do find this Montmartre very, very thick, look. So, but other paint brands can come out all different consistencies in different colours. So I've got some lovely turquoise, really nice bright yellow, crimson red, and now I've got orange in there, but I added a good dollop of yellow, because if you stir in a good dollop of yellow to your orange, it really comes out a really bright orange. So I love that. I've got some purple in there. Now, if you wanted that purple to go darker, to my Berry Delicious, you can add some phthalo blue, and then black will send it even darker purple. I have got some just black paint, a little bit of black. I should actually mix some white, shouldn't I? But I've got white mixed, and of course the cyan blue. Now I'm going to just use my pouring medium. Because it's warm, I added warm water. I always find it's, you know, ready to use it quickly. So all I do is I eyeball it. I do not measure. So I'm just going to pour a little bit, maybe just the same again amount in pouring medium as to what's paint. If your paint is thinner, just only a little bit at a time, because you can always add more paint or more pouring medium, either way, to get it to your consistency. Now remember, each different pouring technique can require a different consistency. So if I'm doing my swipe and I want to use balloon kissing in it, I always find doing balloon kisses, which is my style I love to do, I need a little bit thicker for the balloon kiss to really hold its shape. So I've mixed, that was about equal amount paint to pouring medium, but that is still way too thick. But I mix that in, and I'll do the same with all of the paints. And get back to you. So whiz, 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 whiz. Okie, all my colours are mixed. I will show you the consistency in a minute. They're all mixed. So your next thing is your canvas prep, and whatever canvases I buy, they're already pre-treated, meaning they're given 2 or 3 coats of gesso, which seals your canvas. So I've never bought my canvases any other way but pre-treated, so they're ready to paint on, and you don't actually have to do a separate base coat if you don't wish to. I mean, I do on certain things just to get the particular piece to come out how I want it to. So next bit is for your canvas is just using some everyday masking tape and masking tape your canvas up. So I'll try and whiz through this bit. The idea of putting masking tape on the back of your canvas, it keeps your canvas nice and clean behind, so it just looks a little bit more professional. You know, if you're probably just doing it for a hobby or for the therapy of it, then you probably wouldn't want to worry about this, having the back of your canvas look nice. But even the preparation really is quite therapeutic, so there you go. But definitely if you're going to sell or gift your canvases, then it's really nice to have your nice clean back of your canvas, your bottoms cleaned. So, okay. That's done. Your next thing you'll find, not all canvases come with them, but mostly these little pegs, and you think, where the heck do they go? Well, you'll see some little divots in your canvas there, and you slide in that way, the bottom one first, because it's too hard to get it in. Yeah, slide that in. You can use a little hammer if you choose, and then your top one goes in that way. What those do is they stretch your canvas for you and make your canvas nice and tight. This particular canvas is pretty tight anyway, so I sometimes don't even worry about putting these in, but if your canvas is not so tight, then definitely put them in. Right, next bit I always buy, as again, these are in my Amazon store, they're called giant push pins. So I like keeping these, I just reuse them and reuse them. Put them in the bottom of your canvas. Hammer them in. Obviously if you've got a larger canvas, then put extras in, but then that gives you a canvas that stands up off your surface you're pouring on, and you can tilt it and without actually touching the sides and disturbing your piece of art from there. So that's another good way of keeping your canvas so you can work with it. And the other way, of course, is using, like, this is just a cake, a baking tray. And so if I'm using canvases that I don't want to put, like if I'm doing the dip technique, and I just want to put them on a surface like this to dry, then you've got a baking tray. And of course you can get these baking trays in all sizes. So, but they're obviously good for smaller size canvases and things, not particularly a big canvas that you might use. But the push pins are great for any size. I've used them on real big canvases and smaller ones. So that's good. You need yourself a pair of disposable gloves, or you can use the dishwashing gloves and then wash them and reuse them. So just to keep your hands clean, I guess. Now you can buy these puppy pea pads to, you know, that you run off paint to keep your surface nice and clean. But lots of people use the silicone sort of mats, or you can use, I did have it somewhere here, I just can get big roll of butcher's paper, and you can put your butcher's paper down, and then, you know, any paint runoff can go on your butcher's paper. So there's all options there. Just trying to help out anybody that's starting off in this acrylic pouring, because I've had so many, you know, asking me to do a new updated video of how I mix the paints and what I do. So there you go. I'm going to just show you the consistency of my paints. As you see, they're nice bright colours. This one I've tried to keep on the thicker side because I'm going to do a swipe. So you'll see it leaves a little trace. It's kind of like pouring cream on the thicker side. If you were doing a piece of art and you're blowing it with a hairdryer, like the Chaos Blow or the Dutch Pour, you can do even thinner than that, much thinner than that, because you're blowing the paint and it's easier to blow out. But I find for swipes and dips, keeping your paint on the thicker side just seems to help really well. So it's kind of just leaving a trace in your cup. So I just added my pouring medium until I got it how I believe is the consistency that I want. Like I said, different paint brands are going to work differently. That seems quite thick. But that's my paints all mixed and ready to go. So, and I did mix this one up. I made it my very dark black cherry, which was using red. I added some deep blue, and then I added some black if you want it to go darker and dark. It looks almost black, but you wait till I put it on the piece and it comes out that my berry delicious colour, which I love. And of course this is the cyan blue. So everything is ready to, you know, create and have a go at your paint pourings. So that will be the next thing. I don't know if I should split these videos up and do, but anyway, what I'll do first of all is I'll do a swipe technique and then I'll do a dip so I can show they're true beginners. So I did put a challenge out to YouTube staff as kind of a challenge to see. Oh, I'd love to see them get all their stuff together, make up all the paints as I just did, and them all do maybe a dip painting is very good to do for your first fluid art painting, because they're easy enough to do and they're very, you know, they're good. What is it when you do something with your work and you do it as all together? Is it team building skills? So I don't know what on earth YouTube staff would get the benefit out of art except for de-stressing, art therapy, something to laugh at one another and have fun together. So I do put out a YouTube staff challenge. So anybody at YouTube or knows how to get out of the YouTube staffers, I'd love for them to follow me, or, you know, quite welcome for you to fly me over to the YouTube head office to do a team building art therapy pour with you all. So there you go, there's a challenge from a Nana. Love to see you all YouTube staffers, love to meet the people behind YouTube. I mean, I'm only an old Nana, so it's like, you know, much bigger fish to fry than me at YouTube, but it would be a nice thing, wouldn't it? Okay, all ready to paint, so I'm going to get on to the next stage. Okay, now for the good bits. Is your canvas is ready, the paints are ready. Now for the second part of therapy, because I do believe the mixing of the paints and preparation is really good therapy, and especially if you're doing it with friends or staff, it's a chance to have a chat and a laugh while you're pouring it and to question each other about the products going down. So what I suggest is the first one we'll do is a swipe technique. So I always use, you'll have plenty of these if you're working in an office, they're file dividers, like a soft plastic file divider. So I always find these brilliant to swipe with. So keep one of those handy. So first of all, I'll start laying down my paints. So look, this is quite thick. It's not thin at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So you can do it for the people that are obsessive compulsive and you want to do in straight lines, or you want to do it methodically. You can absolutely do that. I'm a bit of all over the place kind of girl, so we'll go in for the orange. So this is going to be a real bright one. Always keep mixing my paints just to make sure getting up anything from the bottom. Let's just layer these paints. You do it really nice and slow. Remember, there's no rush. It's, you know, part of the process is the therapy in it is just doing it slowly and taking your time. So got the real citrusy colours here. Now this nice bright yellow. You don't have to use all of those colours that I've just used, and you can mix up your colours in your own personal favourites. So, and as you've seen, it is mostly pouring medium and acrylic. Like, I get comments like, what a waste of paint. Lots of you use so much paint, but a lot of it is, I always use economically priced paints, making your own pouring mediums very economical. So it really isn't too bad at all. So this is the lovely turquoise. You can also buy yourself, if you're really into the colours and you're not good with putting colours together, you can get yourself a colour wheel, which is, I've got one here to show you quickly, a colour wheel. So you can choose different colours. This is for mixing colours, like if you add blue to your red, you'll get the purple. Then this one is matching colours. So it's called a colour wheel, and you can get them from most art or stores. Rightio, keep on with this, where I'm losing track now. Okie doke, I'll go the purple. I probably won't use every single colour I've got there in this particular pour. Then this is the purple. Oh, look at those lovely bright colours. Oh my goodness, I love it already. Right, I am going to put some white in here. I mixed some white separate. I decided I needed some white. So we'll go with the white. And I think I'm going to use the black to swipe. You can actually swipe with any colour. You can use dark colours on your pour and then swipe with white or swipe with red. You can actually swipe with any colour you choose. So this one now, because these are so thick, is just a gentle tilt all over your canvas. Just don't try and run all your paint off at one time. Just make sure you're covering your canvas with the paint. And because it's thick, thicker than normal, not too thick, it will, it shouldn't go muddy because the paints are just rolling over each other and they're kind of mixing in that way. So, oh, look at those colours, so nice. It is definitely therapeutic. It's definitely a great thing to do, whether you're in an office situation and want to do something with your workmates, like I said, team building. It's nice to do with your family and friends, good laugh. Particularly funny when it doesn't turn out the best when you're with friends, because you have a good laugh over it. But if it turns out wonderful, you have a good squeal over it. So when you've tilted it over your edges, you can just finger pop it on the corners. And remember, we taped off underneath, so it should keep your canvas nice and clean. But you always re-center your paint, bring it back to the center again. That should be fine, fine, fine. Right, I think today I am going to do I'm going to do my swipe colour, which I'm going to use this Berry Delicious. I was going to use the swipe colour right along the top, but I think I'm going to use it down the centre. So you put a thickish line down the centre, or wherever. It can be the top, it can be the side, but I'm going to swipe out from the centre. So using your soft plastic file divider, I just drop the very tip of the divider into the paint and then slowly does it. You think, oh my God, all those lovely colours have gone. Please stick with me. You will be pleasantly surprised if you've never done this. And then the next side. Colours will all be revealed. Okay, switch it around. You can see some tiny little, actually I'll probably keep it like that, couldn't I? Would have done the swipe a bit better. See some tiny little champagne cells popping up there. It is best to wipe your swipey tool in between your swipes, because otherwise if you still got paint on there, it could send the next swipe you do very muddy with all the paints mixing. So try and keep it clean, wipe it off on your pad or on a cloth, whatever's you've got available. It is sent this one pretty dark, but let's hope we can bring all those lovely colours back through. I'm not going to worry about it too much. So that's my swipe done. Turn it back around this way so I don't lose. There we go. And then I use a heat wand. If you're looking to buy these, they're in the craft section under embossing tool, heat embossing one. So it's not like a hairdryer. It won't blow your paint anywhere. It just adds some heat, which will help burst any air bubbles. It will help the paint absorb into the canvas. And if it is cells you're looking for, it'll help the cells pop up. So this one, right, there we go. Little champagne cells in this one. Because this particular paint mix, I only added my pouring medium. If I wanted really nice big cells to come up in this, there's two options. You add a little bit of Floetrol to each of your paint cups, and that gives lovely cells. Or you can swipe with, as I told you before, the Amsterdam paint and Australian Floetrol make a really lovely bloom effect. Or the other thing is, which I don't do too often now, is you can add a few drops of silicone, only 1 or 2 drops in a few cups of your paint, and it will create cells. I don't do that very often because it does leave a residue on your dry canvas that's pretty hard to get rid of if you're wanting to resin your piece. So what I'm going to do now is go in for when you see what the balloon magic does. So tie it off, put the balloon in between your 2 fingers like that, put the belly button, rightio. And this is my favourite part. So you're going to press and roll. Oh my goodness, look at the feathery effect. So if you want to do my traditional Jilly balloon kiss, it's press it in, you kiss in the canvas, pulling it out. You can use your balloon to go directly onto another canvas or a card to make some beautiful cardstock. Obviously, time restraint, I'm just wiping mine off. If your paint falls in, wipe your paint off and then kiss it again. And then, oh, look at that, look at that. Another trick is, if your paint is really falling in after 2 kisses, walk away, go and have a cuppa and come back till the paint's absorbed into the canvas. Even up to 20 minutes you can do that. So I'm going to do the kisses. Oh, looky, looky. I'll go in it again. It kind of really looks like a starry night, this one. So gorgeous. And see, all those colours now are really going to show themselves. So if you just want to do the simplest thing is the balloon kiss, you can, as I did down this end, the balloon rolls, press in, roll, and look at the colours that come up. And that creates that lovely feathering effect. It's gorgeous, almost looks like a coloured parrot. And the more sort of used to the pressures that you require on the canvas when you're kissing your balloon into it, you know, it's just practice. So look at the colours coming up from this now, and what a lovely paint mix that actually was for this. It's just so vibrant, and I'm happy because it's going to really make you guys want to do it if you're first timers. So you don't have to cover all the canvas. I can leave that as my starry night, as a bit of, but for the sake of this one I'm going to do the balloon rolls and kisses, just to show you how I can bring all those colours back to life again. Kissing. So even if you just want to do one balloon kiss on the whole canvas, or you don't want to do any, it just gives you a really nice, bright and vibrant effect. So that's probably gone overboard, but it's for the sake of a demonstration. As asked, that was that one technique of swipe and balloon kiss. So vibrant. You can let this dry off, you could embellish it, you can wait till it's fully dry, put a nice, just either a varnish spray to protect it, or you can resin, which will really make it pop. I will bring you down and have a look at this really bright and vibrant piece, and I would love, love, love to see you guys do it and show me what your piece turns out like. Look how vibrant this one is, and how easy. And I mean, for somebody that's doing this for the very first time, that has no art, feels that they're not capable, you know, it's quite exciting to get nice results like this with something you try, and especially with a team. And look at those tiny little cells. Now they've come out tiny small cells like that. And that was without adding any Floetrol. That's just with that pouring medium. Just beautiful. The colours have popped. Really happy with that one. So the next technique I will do will be the dip. So again, I'm not sure whether I'll add it to this video because it's going to be a long one, or have it as part 2, I guess. Super duper happy with this one. Dried beautifully, so bright and vibrant. But I have decided to do I've done the canvas sandwich for my next piece, but I'm not going to tag the video onto this one. I will have that as the next video up the day after this one goes to air. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope that really helps you. And as always, I like to say, if you're feeling sad, lonely or depressed, please ring a family member or a friend, or if that's not available to you, then a helpline. So stay healthy and happy, people. Bye for now.